Hello everyone! Today we're going to be taking a look at this Eiruaw mini chainsaw. Right now it's selling for $49.99 on Amazon, and I'll leave a link below. They did send me this to do a review on, so we're going to have a kind of in-depth look and see what it can do. It has a 6-inch bar, which is really nice for getting into some larger limbs, and we will test that. It has an onboard oiler, which is a big upgrade over the one that Saker sent me, which you always had to take a little bottle and oil the bar with. For your oil, they recommend just using straight motor oil, not used motor oil. That has gas in it, that's going to ruin things. So fresh oil. I've also heard of people using olive oil for pruning fruit trees, just to keep everything nice and clean. You don't want your fruit tree getting infected with normal motor oil. So what we have in here is a mini chainsaw. This is a pretty neat unit. You got safety glasses, 21-volt batteries. They don't have a charge indicator though. I do see that as a downside. Comes with one charger, a pair of gloves. We'll go ahead and use those. An instruction manual, and the saw itself. The saw features a 21-volt lithium-ion battery that is 1500 milliamp hours. Comes with 2 of them in the kit, which is really nice. And a charger that simply just plugs into the back. And you have a little indicator light that'll turn green when it's charged, right there. So in order to load this up, you just slide it in, click it. Make sure your chain is tensioned appropriately. You want a little bit of slop, but you don't want it super tight. I think that's a little loose in my opinion. I'm no professional when it comes to chainsaws, so we want to tighten it up. So we can loosen this big wing nut on the outside, and it should be able to click this in a bit. And as you can see, that tightened it up quite a bit. That's probably good. We'll tighten this outer nut down. And if it's too tight, you simply turn it the other way. If you need to take the bar off and replace the chain, first thing you want to do before you service this is take your battery out. You don't want any accidents to happen. If you need to take the bar off and replace the chain, you want to screw this wing nut all the way. Once you have this big wing nut off, make sure you don't lose this nut because it will fall out of there. You can simply lift up on your safety and pull this cover off, and that will allow you to get to the bar. You just pick up like that. Now when you're feeding the bar, you want the teeth to be facing this direction. This is the top of the bar. You want it going that way. So once you have that all aligned, simply slide it down in these slots all the way down. Line it up on the screw. Get these teeth started in this cog. And then when you're aligning the base plate, now this can be a little tricky, especially when you're off to the side and looking through a camera. Now when you're aligning this base plate here, you'll notice this big orange thing is on a spinning cam. You want to make sure that that is in a position, you can see it from underneath. You want to make sure that's in a position where you have room to move it forward, because it pushes forward on this little tab here, and that adjusts this in and out. Now as you'll see, as we turned it, we're off, we're a little loose. Tension it down, and that's going to put tension on the chain. Now we can put our nut back on. And with this, you want to make sure this little plastic ring is upwards. So you'll start it by hand like this. Then you'll bring the big wing nut up, and you'll just finish tightening it down. Double check and make sure you're happy with where your chain is. That's pretty darn tight. We want to back that off a little. So we'll loosen this again. Back some. And that's probably a little loose. We might tension a little more. You want a little play in it, not a whole lot. And we tighten this down, and we should be good to go. The next step is going to be to put some oil in it. You want to unscrew this cap, find you a little funnel, put it in there. Now you do have a nice sight glass down the side, so you can see when you're getting close to full. Do not overfill it. I've got some Super Tech bar and chain oil. We're just going to... That's probably entirely too much. Uh-oh. Yeah, I way overdid it. Whoops. So we're going to pour some of that back out. I overshot. There we go. That's more acceptable. So in order to oil this, you want to push this primer button. You'll see it'll fill up with oil. And it'll start shooting oil out of here. So what this is doing is when you push this button, it's shooting oil out of a little hole here, like that. And that is putting oil into this slot. There's a hole right here, and that will lube your bar up. Make sure that you're getting good lube. Now we're all lubed up and should be ready to go. Got this little tree here. Let's give it a go. Zip them right off. So we got a little lilac bush here. Mom was kind of wanting it cut off. This one's a little bit thick. We'll just kind of go about there, and that looks better. There, we got some trees growing up in here. They're getting kind of thick. Let's see if we can get them down. Another big one back in here. Boy, that thing was really in there. We got it. Make sure to give your oiler a couple pumps and keep oil on the chain. Well, up against this building, we got this big tree, or bush, or whatever you want to call it. I guess it's a tree. Ow, that one's got spikes on it. Get down first. Just like that. You know, this is a true jungle back here. I forgot how much it'd grown up. Because it wasn't that long ago I came back here and bush hogged all this and cut a bunch of these trees back. But it sure don't take long for them to regrow, does it? The video, there's actually a giant shed back in there. You can barely see it. Let's see what we can do. Well, looks like you're coming down today. This little ripper's going to take you down. We'll get the tripod. We'll give this thing a real test. See if it can take this giant. That's about the right size. We'll see if it'll take this down. Give her a couple pumps. Yeah, it'll do the work for sure. We're going to cut things that are more realistic because that's probably the extreme side of what you really want to put this through. Here we go. We did take down a tree that's just about right for the bar size, and then we were able to trim it up a little bit. Got all sorts of like normal size. I'd expect you to do something like that with it. That there is like an extreme, like I really need to cut something down, which if you had a larger branch that's kind of heavy, you could definitely use this to trim it down with. And then we cut this one down. It's pretty good size. All of these little upshoots, which definitely needed to go. Look at what they were doing to the paint. All the little trees that were growing up against this building. We shaped this tree down so it's more round, so Mom's finally happy with it. That's the main thing. And the little tree that was starting to close off my brother's carport. That one was pretty sizable at the base, and we made a few cuts on that. I'd say it's more for smaller trees like this, so make sure you get them before they get too large. Yeah, battery's just dead. So, yeah, make sure you get them before they get too large, and then they'll be pretty good. So yeah, that did a little more than I thought when you go to move it all back and forth. It definitely made some mess to clean up. But looking pretty good in here. We got some daylight coming through just a little bit, you know. But yeah, oh, I still got some. See, it did do a lot. Here I am thinking it didn't do that much because I didn't film very long. But in reality, off one battery, that's not too bad. Honestly, probably better than I was expecting now that I look at it. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this video on this little guy. I have to clean it up some. Definitely worth 50 bucks every bit of it for getting 2 batteries. And if you live in town or have a small yard, you're not cutting down giant trees with it, you know. But branch falls, this thing will be quite handy. I really like the oil. You just gotta remember to give it a couple pumps, let it cycle some, get that oil sloshed around on there, and you're good to go. So leave a like, hit subscribe. I hope you enjoy it. I'll leave a link down below. They did send me this. I believe I said that already. So am I biased to it? Not really. I mean, it works. It does the job well. It's handy to have on hand, and no gas means it's ready to go as long as your battery's charged. I like the easy to use tensioner too. You don't have to have special tools to go adjusting with it. Whew. Dang. Sit there and try not to do that in one run-on sentence. So I'll see you in the next one. Leave a like, hit subscribe, and have yourselves a great day.